All right, welcome to my YouTube channel.
A woman is in the
Okay,
Harris
all right,
County
thank
jail.
you, thank you. Sorry about that. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Charles Parker, and you're watching Save Our Children TV. And on this channel, we advocate for children. Shout out to AFC who inspired me to make this channel. And I'm here to speak upon children who are abused, killed, and other by the parents or mom's boyfriend. So our first story takes us to Houston, Texas. So Houston's gonna take an L. Houston mother killed 14-year-old daughter during a police interaction. Shout out to Willie who posted the video on his channel. Willie Williams, that's his name, Willie Williams, and I'm gonna talk about it right now. Also, probably should. Okay, let me tell you about it. Let's look it up. Hills County. Hills County. I'm taking it. My fault, not Houston. Hills County. So Harris County's gonna take in there. Harris County. Alright, Harris County mother uses her daughter as human shield following a high-speed chase. Harris County, Texas. One mother is facing numerous charges after she used her own daughter as a human shield following a high-speed pursuit, officials said. 35-year-old Tanisha Henry is charged with evading arrest, detention with vehicle, endangering a child, and fraudulent use possession of identifying information. According to officials, Harris County Precinct 8 deputies with the Constable Phil Sindling's office responded to assist the Webster Police Department with the pursuit. Officials said the pursuit began after the Webster Police Department received an alert from the Bellaire Police Department of a suspect vehicle involved in a theft case. Webster police attempted to stop the vehicle for a detective lamp on the 500 block of Bay Area Boulevard, but the vehicle failed to yield and the pursuit began. A deputy with Precinct 8 intercepted the pursuit westbound on Bay Area Boulevard near Galveston Road as the suspect vehicle approached the Gulf Freeway and proceeded northbound. The driver, later identified as Henry, continued in the main lanes, reaching speeds of 100 miles per hour and made multiple unsafe lane changes, officials said. After a lengthy chase, the vehicle exited Coleman Road where it came to a stop in the 14400 block of Coleman Boulevard after the vehicle ran out of gas. Deputies said they conducted a felony takedown of the vehicle, but Henry failed to comply and put the juvenile passenger out of the vehicle. She then, according to officials, placed the juvenile in a chokehold and positioned them as a human shield. During the course of the standoff, the suspect began yelling at officers to shoot, while the juvenile victim appeared to be fearful and distraught. As the standoff continued, the deputy was able to position herself behind Henry and use her taser to subdue the suspect. After further investigation, officials said the juvenile was identified as Henry's 14-year-old daughter. Upon a search of the vehicle, authorities found 22 pieces of identifying information, including Texas driver license, Texas security license, social security cards, Lone Star EBT card, credit and debit cards, and health insurance cards. Further investigation revealed the items were taken without consent, and Henry attempted to use the credit debit cards. Henry was taken to the Harris County Jail where her bond was set at $10,000 each for evading and endangering a child. Here's some news video. I'm gonna play it right here. Sorry for the lighting. It'll be a little dark. Give it a second. We have commercials.
A woman is in the Harris County Jail. This is after officers say that she took them on a high-speed chase and used her own daughter as a shield in the standoff. That's right. Fox 26's Sherman Sell joining us live in the newsroom to break down what happened. Sherman.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. Some images from the police officer's body camera show the moment 35-year-old Tanisha Selena Henry put her daughter in a chokehold as police had their weapons drawn. Now, before we show you that, here's a timeline of what police say happened. Last Thursday around 9 p.m., the Western Police Department received an alert from the Bel Air Police Department about a suspect vehicle involved in a theft case in that city. Webster officers located the car and they attempted to pull the car over in the 500 block of Bay Area Boulevard for a broken light. And that's when the chase started. Precinct 8 constable deputies also got involved in this. Police say Henry was speeding on the Gulf Freeway service road, going over 100 miles per hour. She then made a U-turn and drove the wrong way on the southbound service road. Police say that car that Henry was driving eventually ran out of gas on Cullen, and when Henry got out of the car, she pulled her 14. Year old daughter out of the car with her, placed her in a chokehold, and used her as a human shield, asking police to shoot. Officers say the child was visibly distraught. Deputies were able to get behind Henry, tase her, and place her in custody. Now, Henry, of course, has a long criminal history of evading arrest, theft, and forgery in Florida. And police found stolen Texas IDs, debit and credit cards, and insurance information inside that car. She now faces several federal charges, including endangering a child.
One, this woman should have never been able to have children, number one. But number two, you know, as men, you mean to tell me no one saw red signs, red flags? You just allow a person with this long criminal history to be around children. No, her history is very terrible, which means that this child was failed by so many people. You have the suspect family, the child's father. This woman should never be able to have children in the first place, and the fact that we allow someone like that to have children is beyond absurd. This woman should have been in prison a long time ago. She clearly don't care about the safety of her child, and who uses that child for human shield. Let's say the police did shoot, and the child got hit by a bullet because you want to use her as a human shield. Shouldn't this be considered attempted murder? Because you attempt for your child to be shot. I just don't understand. And then you're driving no gas in the car. I mean, you're not thinking that, oh, justice will come. I'm going to move on. And let's hope that this child is with better family members because clearly the mother isn't. Now I'm going to move on to another story.
Oh, give me. Titi, she got your toothpaste. Give me it. Stop.
This next story we already talked about on Monday. And it's about a New Jersey bus aide, female bus aide, to New Jersey taking air, who was arrested after a student on the bus died from suffocation by a seatbelt. We're gonna talk about that story again. This time I want to show the bus aide's face. Usually when I do these stories, I want to expose the criminals. So I got a laptop that have face recognition. So we're gonna expose this bus aide today. Promise you that. Now, let's pull that story up. Here we go. So she was just released 2 days ago, pending trial. Why is she out of jail? So let's talk about it. But in the meantime, I'll pull up the video.
Wait, Titi, why can't we drink that water?
Okay. I'm going to play the news video in a minute. Let me just read this. My Central Jersey. Okay, that's the article I'm on. School bus aide is charged after Franklin student who was 6 was strangled by wheelchair seatbelt. This happened back on, I believe this happened July 19th of 2023, I believe. Either that or the 1920 around that time. A 27-year-old New Brunswick woman who works as a school bus aide has been charged with the death of a 6-year-old child with disabilities after the girl was strangled by the seatbelt of her wheelchair on the way to an extended school year program. Franklin police responded shortly after 9 a.m. Monday to a township school and reported an unresponsive child. Somerset County Prosecutor John McDonald said when arriving officers administered CPR to the girl who later died in an area hospital. The girl was identified by the prosecutor's office as
Titi, we want a minute.
Fajer Atia Williams, who was 6 of Franklin Township. Her mother and multiple media reports said her daughter had a rare chromosome disorder called Emanuel syndrome, which affected her ability to speak and walk. The prosecutor's office said the girl was picked up at her home and was being transferred to the Claremont Elementary School in Franklin Park by school bus, which was operated by Montreat Transit Services. McDonald said the girl, who was secured in her wheelchair at the back of the bus by the aide, Amanda DeVello, slumped in her seat during the ride, causing the 4-point harness, which secured her to the chair, to become tight around her neck and blocked her airway. According to the prosecutor, DeVello was seated toward the front of the bus and was using a cell phone with earbuds in both ears during the ride. She has been charged with manslaughter and endangering the welfare of a child, both second-degree crimes, and was being held in the Somerset County Jail pending a detention hearing. The investigation remains ongoing as authorities await the findings from the New Jersey Northern Regional Medical Examiner's Office. The prosecutor's office said, anyone with information is asked to contact the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office Major Crimes Unit at 908-231-7100 or the Franklin Township Police Department at 732-873-5523 or via the Stop It Ad information can also be provided. I actually talked about this story again on Monday. I didn't reveal the bus aide's face at the time because I didn't have the right laptop for that. So now
tragedy
here it
is
is.
a family in New Jersey with unbearable grief, and prosecutors say this never should have happened in the first place. Good to have you with us. I'm Adam Cooperstein.
And I'm Gilma Avalos. Tonight, a family is mourning the loss of their 6-year-old daughter who died while on the school bus in Franklin Township.
Now, a school bus aide is facing charges in connection to that little girl's death. Prosecutors say that aide failed to protect the child, who had special needs and was in a wheelchair, when things took a turn on that ride to summer school. News 4's Pat Battle is live in Somerset, New Jersey. And Pat, this is just unthinkable pain for this family.
Adam, it is absolutely indescribable, unfathomable what this family is going through. The mom, dad, and this little girl had two sisters. We are outside the Montauk Transit Bus Company here on Route 27 in Somerset. This is the company that the Franklin Township School District contracts with to take students to school. And little Faja Atia Williams was on one of these buses, which is equipped with a camera, which is why when prosecutors looked at that videotape and saw what had happened, they went and arrested that aide, and she's now charged with manslaughter. She wanted to stay strong, but emotion overtook Namja Nash Williams when she learned how her little girl lost her life in the back of a school bus. 6-year-old Faja strapped in her wheelchair, the harness growing tighter across her little body as the aide, who should have been watching her, sat up front, completely unaware that Faja was suffocating.
They need to be properly trained and equipped. Obviously, she wasn't. If she's sitting in the bus with disabled kids and she's on a cell phone on the head with headphones on the head, listening to doing whatever she was doing, my daughter back there fighting.
The bus is owned by Montauk Transit here in Somerset. Prosecutors say the aide, 27-year-old Amanda Davila of New Brunswick, had on ear pods and was on her cell phone for at least part of the 15-minute ride to the Claremont School in Somerset, where little Faja went 4 days a week to an extended summer program. She'd only started here July 5th with a new driver and a new aide, and by the time the bus arrived, she was unresponsive.
She didn't have oxygen in her brain for almost 40 minutes. Do you understand the image that we got in our head of our daughter the last time we seen her? What we had to go through?
Faja was born with a rare chromosome disorder called Emmanuel syndrome. Unable to speak or walk, she was the joy of her family's life.
And she was the sweetest kid you'll ever meet. She had the sweetest little laugh, her little dimples. And she just endured so much throughout her little 6 years of being on this earth. She had multiple surgeries. She didn't deserve this. She did not deserve this. To be taken away from us in such a way that had nothing to do with her condition.
The bus was a small handicap-equipped vehicle like this one, and Faja's mother says she watched as she went into the back.
She's not verbal, so she doesn't make words. She makes sounds. She calls. You know, she has the happy screams. She makes sounds. She has a voice.
If you hear anything, you will look. So these people are not even looking, not hearing, not paying attention, not turning around. This is what's bothering me.
This will never, ever happen again if I have any say-so.
Ironically, she works for a company that provides non-emergency medical transportation for people. Her job to make sure things like this don't happen.
I do the right things to make sure that this doesn't happen. And it happens to my baby.
She is just devastated. The entire family is devastated. And so are the folks here at this transit bus company. We went and knocked on the door. They couldn't comment because of the ongoing investigation, but expressed their deep sorrow at what has happened to little Faja. In the meantime, the aide, again, her name is Amanda Davila, is being held in the Somerset County Jail. She has been remanded without bail until a court hearing on the 25th of this month. Her mother, the little girl's mother, says she holds that aide, the school district, and this bus company, all of them, responsible for what happened to her little girl.
So she out of,
Reporting live from Somerset.
so she's out of jail because June 5th just passed. So she out of jail and tried. Okay. My final thoughts about this particular story. This is not the first time the bus aide had the phone in her hand, earpods, or phones in her ears. Not the first time she did it. But I watch every 15 minutes off and on. And I'm going to tell you, every 15 minutes, something bad happened in America. So as that bus aide was on her phone, 15 minutes was going by slowly. You got to be aware. If you're a bus aide, bus driver, you need to be aware. You're looking after somebody's children, then you should be aware. And again, I blame the bus department because they should have known who they were hiring in the first damn place. You don't hire somebody that's not up there. She clearly shouldn't been a bus aide in the first place. Clearly. She didn't take her job seriously. Who sits on the phone doing nothing and not paying attention to children? Who's been supervising that one? Advice to the parents, like I said on Monday, lawsuit, get you a good attorney, sue that bus aide, sue the school bus company because they failed to provide safety. They failed to do so. So you have to come to lawsuit. A wrongful death lawsuit. And shout out to the mother because she's talking about awareness. She wanna, spread the word about safety on school buses. When you don't monitor on a school bus, bad things happen. That bus aide should be still in jail. Nobody should be out on bond. If a black man did that black man would be sitting in jail, no bond, and a waiting trial. That's crazy. She had a jail now, and she caused the death of a child. That's real. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you gotta be real too. Women don't get jail time as men do. Women don't sit in jail for a period of time and wait trial. They get released after 24 hours to 3 days. So, all right, let's move on. Buffalo better take the L. Not in my neck of the woods now. Now this is a Riverside. So it's up in the Riverside. A Riverside vandalism. Another one happening in Riverside earlier. I believe it was earlier today. It was yesterday, but I gotta look it up. We're gonna check it out, talk about it. And at this point, start locking in my mother's up. All right, so let's see. Riverside, Buffalo. Vandalism. Oh yeah, by the way, a 13-year-old was arrested. 13-year-old boy was arrested 3 days ago for felony criminal mischief in the connection to the vandalism at Casanova and MLK Park. So, good about that. I'm going to Odyssey. Okay. Buffalo, New York. For the third time in 2 weeks, vandals have struck a park in the city of Buffalo. Wednesday morning, staff at Riverside Park found damage to the pool. Someone or some individuals tossed a picnic table into the pool and threw a bunch of garbage into the water as well. Pieces of the picnic table were scattered on the floor of the pool. This happened overnight, and if you're a young kid, 13 or 14, why are you out at that hour of night? Because the parents don't care. Ex-Buffalo Council member Joe Gallimanback, he said parents shared the blame as well. I just said that, started asking his parents. When I was a kid, I had to be home at a certain time. If I would have disappeared in the middle of the night, my parents would have killed me. There was no surveillance video at Riverside Park. The city looked at installing cameras there years ago. They should now. But Gallimanback said when the trees are in the full foliage, it cuts anywhere from 1/3 to 2/3 of the space where the cameras could work. Casanova Park in South Buffalo was struck last weekend. Glass bottles and a mirror in the bathroom were broken. A sink was torn off the wall. Trash cans were thrown into the road and plants were ripped from the ground. Authorities say that a female worker was arrested during the ordeal, as well as a 13-year-old is facing felony criminal mischief charges. Buffalo police have released a new video of people causing damage to MLK Park Casino on July 12th. Officials found damage to the kitchen walls, doors, windows, and light fixtures. Exterior signage was also turned off the building. There was additional damage to the splash pads at MLK Park, where a large amount of industrial glue was poured near the basin. Overall, damage could surpass to $50,000. And anyone with information on any of these incidents is asked to call the BPD confidential tip call line at 716-847-2255. Here is one. Give me a second to pull it up. How did you do that? A time ago.
I can't water. I cash up for $2 right now. You got can of water?
I got this video pulled up.
Thank you, Jordan. Well, crews are cleaning up from yet another case of vandalism at a city park.
This time it happened at the pool in Buffalo's Riverside Park. News 4's Jeff Craval is at that park tonight to show us what happened. Jeff?
Well, Jackie and Don, this was the third act of vandalism at a park in the city of Buffalo, and the council member for this district says that sometime last night, someone shoved a picnic table into the water here at the pool and also tossed in a bunch of garbage that had to be cleaned up from the water. This is what greeted DPW and parks crews this morning with that picnic table in the water here at Riverside Pool. This morning we found crews still picking up some of the pieces in the water. Workers were able to clean it up fast enough to open up the pool on time at 11 o'clock this morning. But vandalism at city parks is becoming all too familiar for many residents who use these parks. Buffalo Common Council member Joe Golombek puts this problem on parents.
Absolutely.
It comes down to kids not being parented. If I would have ever been caught out of the house in the middle of the night, my parents would have killed me. You know, but now it just seems to be the norm. There needs to be some parental responsibility.
And Buffalo Police want you to take a look at this video. Police are releasing new video of when vandals broke into the casino building at MLK Park a couple weeks ago and caused extensive damage there. We have blurred the faces of those in the video because of their ages and because they have not been charged. But if you can pick out perhaps maybe an article of clothing or anything from that video,
Dumbass.
you are asked to
On camera,
contact
though.
police.
Jesus.
The arrest has already been made in a vandalism incident over the weekend at Casanova Park. If you have any information about what happened here at Riverside, you are urged to contact police as well. Reporting live from Riverside tonight, I'm Jeff Craval, News 4.
My thoughts on the story: start charging the mama and start charging the daddies, because these children should not be out here vandalizing the park. We see, this is the thing. You should be honored and grateful that you have somebody going to play it, not vandalize it, tear it up, garbage everywhere, benches in the pool, breaking glass, damaging property. over $50,000 worth of damage. But guess who's gonna be paying? Which is crazy. Guess who's gonna be paying that money to get all that stuff fixed? The city. The city is going to pay all for all them damages. I would have had everybody who damaged everything paying, because they need to be held accountable and responsible for their actions. I'm gonna bet in about 3 or 4 weeks right now, give or takes, by October 1st, there's gonna be a 4th incident at a pool. By October 1st, like my word. From Riverside, they're gonna go all the way to Madison Park. I bet you. I got a feeling. Tell me about that story down below. I'm gonna move on. Now, last story, which is I have 2 stories in our last column, which is 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith, and then we're going to talk about the mother who sent her mom a bloody photo holding her lifeless infant. We're going to talk about that story too. 2 in 1, which is our last 2 stories in 1. So let's talk about these 2 last stories. Started here back in July 7th of 2023. This is the story of 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith and Detroit's gonna second name. The man accused of beating and the S word, Sexually, I can't say that, this is YouTube. It's an assaulting 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith's mother. Winter Cole Smith's mother has also been charged in federal court with kidnapping and the toddler and strangling her to death with a phone charger, according to the FBI. The charging complaint filed Friday accused 26-year-old Rashad Treese of kidnapping Winter after stabbing and blanking assaulting Samari Cole, his ex-girlfriend, in a Lansing apartment on Sunday. The FBI said Winter was strangled to death with a pink cell phone charger that was recovered Wednesday evening with her body in a Fair Lake alley in the east part of Detroit. Parts of the cell phone charger were found in Trace's car after he was arrested, according to the filing. Trace has been charged with kidnapping and kidnapping resulting in death. He also was charged in state court in Lansing with beating and blanking assaulting his ex-girlfriend. Trace will be eligible for the death penalty if he is convicted of kidnapping resulting in death. The mandatory minimum for that charge, if convicted, is life in prison. Winter's disappearance late Sunday evening spawned a massive search, which ended in her body being found Wednesday evening on Detroit's east side near the Coleman and Young International Airport. On Sunday evening, one of the mother fled the apartment after Trace allegedly stabbed and blank assaulted her, leaving Winter and Cole's 1-year-old son behind. Trace, who was not Winter's biological father, keyword not the biological father, allegedly kidnapped the toddler and drove off in the mother's car. An Amber Alert was issued 2:41 a.m. Monday when Winter couldn't be found. In a text message to Trace at 6 a.m. Monday, after Trace allegedly kidnapped Winter, his uncle said, "It's not your fault. The girl is the devil." According to the federal law enforcement officials, Trace's uncle told Trace he loved him and said he could help if he came to him. Trace responded with, "I love you, but I have to end this SHIT, man." Trace was arrested in St. Clair Shores later on after patrol officers saw the vehicle and attempted a traffic stop. According to police, Trace tried to flee and crashed into another police vehicle. After a quick chase, he tried to grab an East Point officer's gun before police used a taser on him and took him to the hospital. Winter was not in the car at the time. FBI found a significant amount of blood in the vehicle, which FBI officials said was consistent with the stab wounds Trace had gotten after assaulting Winter's mother. Trice refused to tell police where Winter was and denied kidnapping her. Police used cell phone location data to find Winter's body, which was in a failed lake alley in Detroit. Medical examiners had not determined any official cause of death, according to the FBI. Trice told police he and Winter's mother had been arguing about money and they stabbed each other when the argument became violent. He said words to the effect of I'm already a monster. And said he wanted to kill himself, according to the FBI complaint. Again, this mother said he did a better job before allowing a man around her child that she probably didn't even know. Lansing Police Chief Eloise Sosa B said in a statement that the department top priority is to get justice for Winter and her family. U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Michigan, Mark Taunton, said in a statement that the allegations in the case are heart-wrenching. My thoughts are very much with Winter's family as we are praying for her safe return home, he said. Winter's relatives called Thursday for tougher legislation to suspects convicted of violent crimes remain in prison after Trice, the fourth-time habitual offender, was initially charged in an assault on Winter's mother. We are heartbroken over the loss of a beautiful daughter, granddaughter, cousin, niece, and big sister. Winter called Smith, the family said in a statement, Winter brief but bright life was taken from her unnecessarily and we will grieve her death forever. The federal charge crime after news that Trice had previously been convicted of domestic violence. Right here was around people's children. I blame the mother. Winter's mother, Emmanuel County, according to court records. He was sentenced in 2022 to 224 days in jail, according to court records. Monroe County Court records reviewed by the Detroit News that Trice was charged with assaulting his then girlfriend, Samari Cole, and resisting, obstructing, or assaulting police in May of 2021. He was convicted in 2022, and the mother allowed him on the charge in 2023. Winter is listed as a victim or a complainant in the domestic violence case, but was not listed in the charging information. Court records do not indicate how Winter, an infant at the time, was a victim in the incident. The Monroe County charges add to the picture of Trice's criminal past, which includes charges of domestic violence, assault, and resisting and obstructing police in the last 5 Michigan counties according to court records. At the time of Winter's death, I want you to hear this. At the time of Winter's death, Trice was on probation from an August 2021 incident in Livingston County in which he pleaded guilty to 5 felonies, including assaulting, resisting a police officer, and felony assault. And why the hell again was he around people's children? It is so difficult to imagine the final moments of little Winter's life, said Don Ice, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan. I commend Assistant United States Attorney Christopher Raythorn of my office, FBI, Detroit Police, and all the other law enforcement partners who worked tirelessly for days to find Winter in Detroit and return home. My heart breaks for the family and all of us mourn with him. And here is the news video. Let me look it up.
We begin tonight with.
I'm gonna play a couple news videos.
We begin tonight with breaking news. It's devastating news. The search for the little girl kidnapped from Lansing appears to have reached a tragic end.
During their search, police officers found a body on Detroit's east side believed to be 2-year-old Winter Smith. She's a little girl who's been the subject of the Amber Alert. Fox News' Dave Kinchin is there now, and Dave, this is not the news anyone wanted to hear.
Yeah, absolutely devastating. We were hoping and praying that this was not the result, but tragically, that's what we're looking at right now. And we're here in the corner of Nodell and Irwin Streets, and the scene is actually a few blocks down on Irwin there, and there's a whole. So we got a major scene here, but we know that there's a press conference happening in Lansing. While investigators, including the FBI, are working here, let's send it back to you so we can get to officials in Lansing talking about the investigation there.
Obviously, a lot of moving pieces right now. Let's take a look at what's happening in Lansing right now as they are about to brief the media on this case.
Yeah, we'll take you there now.
And all neighboring law enforcement jurisdictions have spent endless hours on this investigation and for helping find them. The community support and civilian volunteers who put their lives on hold to find winners should also be recognized and known for their efforts. They help us in the search to bring winner home. Finally, I want to acknowledge the media, you all, who helped us keep the public informed with accurate information and share messages on how our communities across the state of Michigan can help. Moving forward, please continue to forward any new information, any digital evidence, any witnesses, witness statements, or any other pertinent information to the Lansing Police Department or the FBI tip line. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Lansing Police basically thanking all of the agencies that helped in this case. But the sad news that we're bringing to you right now is the fact that it appears that search for little Winter Smith has ended in a field in Detroit over there at Irwin and Nodell. Sadly, this happening about a couple of hours ago. We first got word, of course, from Detroit police that they had found a body, later confirmed from sources, including, we believe, the FBI, that said indeed a body was found.
And this wasn't far from where the suspect, Rashad Trice, was arrested earlier this week. But right now, we're going to head back now to Dave Kitchen for a full report from the scene and what he's learned from police.
It's the Warner premiere. It's the light beer. You didn't know it was a light beer until right.
Yeah, this is a very active, fast-moving investigation scene here. The scene actually a few blocks down on Irwin here. Detroit police keeping us far back. What we understand, it was Detroit police that found the body of this little girl called an angel by her family. The bright smile, how smart she was, how lovely she was. She lit up the lives of so many of her family members. They were hoping and praying, and tragically, this is what we're dealing with right now. Her body found, this is confirmed by multiple sources, found in an alleyway on Irwin Street, a few blocks down from where we are. Your investigators are working this scene. We saw FBI evidence response teams going door to door, trying to find out as much information as they can. We got the call, I would say, around maybe 7:30 or so. We just wrapped up an interview with the group Black and Missing, a group that works nationally to heighten the exposure of missing persons. And just as soon as we got off the phone with them, a Zoom interview, we get this horrible news. And we've got several Detroit police units here where we understand there's going to be some sort of an update by Assistant Chief Fitzgerald. So we're waiting on that. And of course, they're likely waiting on the remarks from officials in Lansing. The FBI has been taking the lead on this case the entire time. They were pinging cell phones and doing other high-tech digital investigative techniques. And certainly when it comes to Rashad Trice, the suspect in this case, who had, after an altercation, a violent altercation, according to investigators, with Winter's mother, he had allegedly stolen a car and then driven from Lansing all the way down, eventually ending up in St. Clair Shores. But you saw how the FBI out of Detroit, the Detroit field office, put out that map detailing that travel route, and they can use several different techniques to do that, including pinging a cell phone, looking at towers to see at various points where he was going. And so what we understand is investigators were actually retracing those steps. The family actually was doing the same thing. They had their own separate search effort going on in Lathrop Village, but we understand that was taking place, and that's what led sources, investigators, to this area, Irwin, on the east side, where the remains of this 2-year-old girl, Winter Cole Smith, were found. So again, we're waiting for an update from the scene here from the Assistant Chief Fitzgerald at the Detroit Police Department, and you can just see how heavy this is on investigators on the scene. Everybody had hope that this would not be the result, that this isn't tragically what we're dealing with right now. You outlined the charges that Trice is facing. Investigators we talked to early on say that while he's been held under security at a hospital recovering from injuries that he sustained after crashing into a St. Clair Shores police car during efforts to escape, according to sources there, He's been at a Detroit area hospital, but Lansing police have been guarding him, and we were told by sources that he wasn't talking, at least early on, about any of this at all. Very frustrating for investigators, for seasoned investigators who work on these types of horrible cases, and you can only imagine the anguish and the frustration of the family. They haven't had any sleep since all of this happened. But again, where we are now on Irwin Street, Detroit's east side, multiple units here from Detroit Police, the FBI evidence unit. They've been going door to door. They're trying to piece together as much of this as they can. They're looking for video. They're trying to talk to witnesses. They want to see if anybody saw anything that looked out of the ordinary as all of this took place here. But we understand the remains, Winter Cole Smith, her body found in an alleyway here. There was one woman on social media who actually we reached out to try to find more information. She said she can't believe this happened right behind her house. So we're hoping to hear from her and find out more about what she saw. But for now, we'll send it back to you, reporting live on the east side, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, lots of piece together here. You mentioned that map that investigators are looking at, taking a look at the route from Lansing to St. Clair Shores. You look at Detroit, you look at that area, you wonder about those doorbell cams if somebody does have one up over there, because that's going to be very telling about that white car that he was in, and tracking that car on what day this may have happened, leading to this sad ending. It's going to be critical to check that out.
Yeah, no doubt. Ring doorbell cameras, also surveillance cameras from off of Van Dyke, from the side streets, any kind of cameras that they can find, businesses, any government buildings, that sort of thing, any warehouses. They're going to, it's a full court press for investigators. They leave no stone unturned. They do everything they can to try to find out every piece of video, every piece of evidence they can find. Even if a car might have any surveillance cameras on it, they look and they want to piece all of that together. No doubt about that. Key part of this.
And Dave, the desperation that this suspect had shown after allegedly stabbing that little girl's mom, moving on, and then, as we talked about, crashing with that St. Clair Shores cop, also trying to grab a gun. Clearly, this man is not well at all and was exhibiting all kinds of signs of desperation and other things as well when he was first caught.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, hang on. We got something coming up here. Stay with me, guys. We might have an update. Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead. Kate Kinchin, Force Live.
LSKI. He's a Devin IN, yeah, DVIN. He's the acting special agent in charge. Do you want me to put that? Okay. For the FBI Detroit field office. We'll be giving some remarks. With him will be Chief White from the Detroit Police Department. And I will get the names of the two Lansing folks that are here with us tonight. So we're kind of waiting for Lansing PD to be done. It'll be a short statement, just given the situation. We're not going to take any questions. Jordan and I may hang out just to answer things that we can. So
right now you're listening to the FBI spokesperson who is getting ready for a news conference, briefing the media, talking about who will be present at that news conference. Dave Kinchin will be standing by for that news conference. The FBI not expected to take questions. Chief White also not expected to take questions. There is the head of the FBI right there about to address the media. Listen
Kowalski. I'm the acting special agent in charge of our field office here in Michigan. DEVIN KOWALSKI. I want to thank Chief White for being here and shoulder to shoulder with us, along with members of the Lansing Police Department and my team. At approximately 6:50 p.m. this evening, the body of Winter Cole Smith was recovered by FBI agents. This is not the outcome we were hoping for, and our hearts go out to Winter's family. Based on information developed throughout this investigation, our teams are searching multiple.
I gotta show you something real quick. Shout out to AFC. I'm gonna pull up the same story. I'm gonna show you something.
No matter what.
Bang them right there, bang.
I tend to get really.
Let's do it.
Underneath his chest or midsection as police tried to jostle him and grab his hand so they could put him in handcuffs. Tasers are drawn and pressed to his skin, the footage shows, and apparently used several times. Hands out, one officer shouted.
I'm trying to get the criminal criminal history. Let's see. Not bad.
For being dragged out and pushed to the ground.
Okay. If y'all can see, this is his criminal history. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you mean to tell me, woman, this man had a criminal history from 2021 to 2023. And this is who you want on your child. 9 complaint forms. This is just background right here. This could have told you. Just looked this up, saw this, and said, absolutely not. Get away from me and my child. Yeah, you accepted a man who got a criminal history. Not gonna do a book. You put yourself and your child in danger, man. That's what you did. And, you're gonna have to live with that, and I try to encourage women like AFC do. Stop putting your children in a monkey cage in a monkey zoo. Because this can happen. You need to make better decisions. This man was no good. He was a criminal. He was a career criminal. You still allowed them to settle them in your house and around your child and around you. It's a bunch of red flags, and it took 1 second for y'all to snap for him to kill your child. And the crazy part is, he's never the biological father. Again, this is why women shouldn't have men who are not the biological father around their children, because this stuff happens. It just does. You ain't do a background check. You just accepted a man because you thought he was all that. All right, keep the victim in thoughts and prayers, keep the family in your thoughts and prayers, and we're gonna move on to our final story. Now, look that up too. The story happened July 12th, 2023. Let's see what this is out of. Let's see. West Virginia is going to take an L. Woman sent her mom a bloody photo of herself holding a lifeless infant, later allegedly admitted to stabbing the baby with a butcher knife, deputies say. And I'm on Law and Crime Network. A 32-year-old mother in West Virginia has been formally charged with killing her 3-month-old baby girl late last year, allegedly stabbing an infant in the chest multiple times with a butcher knife. God damn. A Lewis County grand jury returned a bill indicting Krista Ann Burnick on 1 count each of murder and death of a child by a parent or guardian by child abuse, authorities announced. Court records released earlier this year described a sanguinary scene inside of the apartment where Bernice is accused of gruesomely stabbing her young child to death before turning the knife on herself. According to a criminal complaint obtained by Lynchburg, Virginia ABC affiliate WSCT-TV, deputies with the Lewis County Sheriff's Office at about 8 a.m. on December 30th, 2022, responded to the Western Manor apartment complex located on Hickory Lane regarding a report about a child being stabbed. The caller was a neighbor who told 911 dispatcher that she was in Brunswick's home where there was a dead child and blood all over the apartment. Upon arriving at the scene, 2 responding deputies said they entered the home and found Bernice kneeling in front of the couch with the lifeless infant in her arms. Clarksburg, West Virginia, NBC affiliate WBOY-TV reported a bloody butcher knife was reported found next to the couch and placed into evidence. Medical personnel on the scene rushed both the mother and child to Stonewall Jackson Memorial Hospital for treatment. Unfortunately, the baby was pronounced dead at around 8:15 a.m. A subsequently autopsy determined that the infant victim's heart and lungs had both been pierced by the knife. Her death was determined to be a homicide caused by several stab wounds to the chest, WBOY reported. Bernays was admitted to the facility and treated for self-inflicted stab wounds to the head, chest, and wrist areas. Once she was stable, Bernays was airlifted to Ruby Memorial Hospital for more specialized treatment due to the severity of her wounds. Investigators at Brunswick's apartment reportedly said they recovered the child's clothing, which consisted of shirt with multiple holes in the chest area that appeared to have been pierced with a butcher knife found at the scene. Investigators spoke to Brunswick's mother, who told them that about 6:50 a.m. on the day of the stabbing, her daughter sent a photograph showing herself covered in blood and holding her daughter, who appeared to be lifeless in the photo. WSCT reported. A nurse practitioner from the Stonewall Memorial Hospital who cared for Brunswick during her stay spoke with the investigators on January 2nd, 2023, and told them that when she asked Bernays what happened to her child, Bernays responded by saying she stabbed her baby, then herself. Charleston, West Virginia, ABC affiliate WCHS-TV reported additionally that the nurse said she asked Bernays if she had been purposefully trying to kill herself and her baby, to which Bernays allegedly responded yes. Bernays' boyfriend, who spoke to West Virginia Metro News on the condition his name not been printed, to the radio news network that Bernays has been suffering from postpartum psychosis and could not get help prior to the tragic incident. Okay. So if that was true enough, she should have never been around that child. She should have got some help. Another red flag. Okay, let's look the article up. West Virginia. West Virginia.
Tonight with a mother accused of stealing her own baby from the hospital and stabbing three.
Let me just take her name up. See, Mr.
The Bakoko Infant.
Okay, well, I can't find an article, so my closing thoughts gonna be this. I believe somebody in her family knew she was psychotic, and somebody could have went and got that child. But you know, when you fail to realize that you fail to protect the child, then I think that there was something wrong with you. You knew this woman wasn't that have it all. You should have protected that child at all costs because clearly she was in the right state of mind. And again, I do think she knew what she was doing. Keep the family thoughts and prayers, and I'm gonna end the video off here, and I'm going to meet me on my content. This is content. Nope, my content channel, and drop a video over there. So.